says we're going live.
Are we, though?
I don't know. I don't know if I'm really here until my existence is validated. It looks like the mics work. It looks like the camera works. It looks like we're here, so we're going to go with it.
Kind of looks like stuff is doing what it's supposed to do.
Kind of does. I'm curious as to how much the lights being on and all the sunshine is washing us out.
Yeah.
We'll find out at some point. So I guess we should, pretend we're actually here, right? Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Kayla Lords.
John Brownstone.
Of Living BDSM, where we help kinksters like you have happy, healthy power exchange relationships. This is our weekly live stream while we record our audio podcast. It's available on all major podcast apps every Friday. We are here 4 minutes early. Lola is walking around the tripod, so I hope the camera survives. If you do not like idle chit-chat, but you're here for the live, you got a few minutes to go do what you need to do. If you don't like idle chit-chat and you're watching later after the live is over, fast forward by about 4 minutes. I will get timestamps in, but it takes a minute after the stream is done. We are definitely drinking coffee today.
Yes.
One, we had time to go get coffee. Two, we're almost out of our own coffee, and we need to hold back and conserve some for the morning because the morning coffee is the important coffee.
Yes.
I'm going to say hi to folks. I think, did it? Okay, good. No. I was like, do I need to scroll already? Hi, Shelby. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Liz. Hi, Silent Wing. Hi, Rara. Hi, Mr. Spock. Hi, Taishu. Hi, Mally. Hi, Susan. Hi, Little Miss. Hi, Davy. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello. And I am so sorry, Davy. That is awful. I'm so sorry. That sucks. Davy says, my ratty Buddha passed away.
Oh, no. I'm so sorry, Davy.
Hi. So, we are wearing special shirts fueled by spankings and caffeine. We've not had as many spankings in our life as we have had caffeine, but that's just the way these things go, right? We do have a link to the shirt. I did check to make sure the link is correct and works. This is designed by fellow kink educator and just really cool kinkster, Ignixia. She gave us a coupon code to give to y'all ages ago. We're not affiliates. We don't make money off of it. It's just a nice thing she did. So if you want this shirt or just to check out her shop, link in the description box. Coupon code is LOVINGDS for 15% off. And Lola's got to stop walking by the damn tripod. Oh my God. Okay. Hi, Monica. Hi, Poppy's Trouble. So.
Hello, everyone, and welcome.
There you go.
Now we're good.
We are back on our schedule. I think that you and I both, I'm saying it so that you know it, but we're going to be flexible about our schedule with the new turn life has taken.
Yeah, we're going to have to be, unfortunately.
We talked about a little bit in the Friday night live stream that we did last Friday night. And then during the bonus section at the end, we'll give a bit of an update to the extent you're comfortable with an update. Yeah.
I mean, so I kind of talked about it.
You talked about it in detail for our patron-only podcast, which, if you happen to be a member of our Patreon, you can listen to that at any point. But yeah, so if we give an update, it'll be in the bonus section, and it'll be to whatever extent you are comfortable.
Yeah.
There's been a lot going on.
Yeah.
Most of it's resolved, except this one thing that I'm saying it so it's known.
Yeah.
If we have to be flexible with our schedule, I'll be okay. It'll be fine. Hi, Junie. Let's see. Yes, Taishu. It only takes one time for me to have trust issues, quite frankly. So, Susan, we will talk about that in the bonus section. Thanks for asking. Yes, we went to Dunkin'. It was closest and cheapest. And for once, it was actually pretty quick. Yeah. There was no line when I got there. I was able to get right through.
Yeah.
Hi, Kim.
Yeah, about that time of day, it's usually pretty good.
Yeah, you can kind of tell when maybe they're short-staffed that day or something has clearly gone wrong.
Yeah.
Because if I go at around 11:30 to pick up a coffee, sometimes there's a line, but no, it was not bad. Yeah. Hi, Computer King. Okay, it is noon straight up, so let's get this show on the road. As we said before, our shirts do have links if you're interested. They say fueled by spankings and caffeine. We are drinking copious amounts of caffeine today. Did you order a decaf in that latte?
No.
Mine's an iced coffee with caramel and cream, full octane. Yours is a mocha latte, full octane. Woo! Our topic for the day, as you can tell, is a BDSM Reddit reaction response. Basically, people post stuff on the BDSM subreddits, and we give our thoughts and opinions on them. Did we just do this recently? But we're tired, so we're just doing it again. If you enjoy this at any point, we love a thumbs up. If you like it enough to want to come back for more and you haven't already, please consider subscribing.
And if you do that, go ahead and ring that notification bell so you get updates and new content.
Just do what Daddy says. And if you really like what we do, want to get content you can't get anywhere else, like a monthly Q&A and a behind-the-scenes podcast, plus access to a Discord server, you can join us on Patreon for as little as $2 a month. Patreon.com/KaylaLords. Link in the description box. Always in the description box. We have not done this for a couple weeks, so I hope I'm not forgetting anything. We do have a sponsorship, but that's after you click the magic button, and I think we're at a point you can click the magic button.
Okay.
So it's now your turn to do your thing. If you remember where the magic button is.
All right, hang on a second. Okay.
Okay, so before we get into the episode and whether these will be rants or not, I don't know. I didn't see when I was reading some. None made me like start frothing at the mouth, so we'll see. I do want to say a big thank you to this week's sponsor, Beducated.
Yay!
Basically, it's like those very vanilla online course sites that we hear about all the time, but it's not vanilla. It's about sex and relationships, and there's definitely a kink section. They add new classes all the time. I'm on their email list, so I get the emails now, and they're like, we just had this class, we just had that class. I was like, very cool. If you sign up because you want to get educated about your relationship or sex or kink or sex acts or whatever, if you use the code LOVING, you save 70% off, and you save that off for the life of your membership. So it's not like a one and done, like 1 month you get the good price and then it skyrockets. No. 70% off for the entire time you have it, plus you can cancel at any point, so you're not stuck with it if you don't need it anymore. In thinking about this week's topic, where when people post their relationship questions, their BDSM questions to Reddit, most of the time the answer is just freaking talk to one another, or we read or hear about somebody just with really bad behavior and you're like, oh, that relationship's not gonna last. I was like, wait, is there a class on Beducated that could help with this? There are some communication classes, but the one that caught my eye that I checked out is called Rebuilding Relationships, especially if impulsivity is kind of the main issue. Like, you impulsively fucked up, and now the relationship needs to be repaired. That class is there. It's a lot of video, and the main speaker had this kind of soothing voice that was kind of nice to listen to. But what I really liked was there was a downloadable workbook that partners can use both for individual exercises and then together. And they even say, this class works better when you take it with your partner. As one would imagine, if a relationship needs to be rebuilt, you should do that together. So our advice for most people who have to post their fucked up questions, like what the fuck is going on in my relationship, to a subreddit, you should take a Beducated class, is all I'm saying. Link to Beducated is in the places, show notes for podcast listeners, description box for YouTube watchers. The code is LOVING. You save 70% off. And whether you want to rebuild your relationship or learn about different things like pegging and face sitting and other sexy things, oh my, check out Beducated. And then if you decide to sign up, use our code, save money. Yay! Thank you, Beducated, for sponsoring this week's episode. Okay, so I actually remembered to open all the links and click the links and pull them up, so they're actually ready for us.
Okay.
As per usual, you have not actually seen any of these yet.
Nope, I'm going into this blind.
I have. And a big thank you yet again to Silent Wing, who sent 2, and then I found 2. Maybe some of these will get me ranty. None of them were so annoying that they have stuck with me, so we shall see. I cannot promise rants this week. But here we go. Let's start here. This one I thought was an interesting one. I think this is one that I found. It says, my daddy sees the dynamic differently and I'm devastated. Ooh. I just had a conversation today with my daddy of almost a year now. I was asking if we could have little space soon, and he said maybe when we move. We live in a small studio apartment with paper-thin walls, so even vanilla sex is awkward. I replied with, why only maybe? At the very beginning of the relationship, we both laid out what dynamic we want in a partner. We agreed on DDLG and a 24/7 DS dynamic, with me being the sub. He knows I'm a little, and I've always been extremely expressive of it. It's how I cope. I've always said that the happiest I am is when I'm in little space. It's become a motto for me, and he knows this. After questioning him about his response, because I could tell he was being dodgy about something, he told me that he found some of my little self, quote, childish and, quote, weird. Ooh. Yeah, which hurt a lot because from my point of view, this is me coping, and I truly thought I was safe enough to express this because I thought he liked being a caregiver. To my understanding, he still likes some aspects of it, but only when I'm acting my age, just bratty, which erases the whole caregiver little dynamic. I feel lied to and ashamed for letting myself be like that around him because I'm super self-conscious, and I hate knowing he thinks I'm weird for it now. I understand everyone has their own thing, and I can't force him into anything, but this is a huge thing for me, and I honestly don't think I can regress if I know my daddy thinks I'm weird for it.
Wow.
I know.
I feel bad for this person.
I do too. I feel bad for them too.
You get into a DDLG relationship, and it's almost kind of a given there's going to be some little space going on there.
Not everybody age regresses,
well,
but there's
not in the same way, but
if you're a little, there's going to be something that identifies you as a little that's going to be part of your little experience. Yeah. Like there's going to be something. Everybody's going to be different.
I mean, for you, it's Disney movies and, cuddling on the couch, eating popcorn, doing, and for others, it's coloring. It's, whatever they enjoy.
And in this case, this person's situation is when they regress, their personality changes a bit. And when I read the comments as well, and they came back and gave some clarification, their voice changes. They have a bit of a baby talk thing going on, that kind of stuff.
Right.
And just to add to deepen the discussion, in the comments, the person clarified that when they did talk to their partner, so we don't have to give that advice. That's been done. That their partner didn't mind the activities. It was the baby talk, the language, the voice, the tone of their voice that was I want to put air quotes around this because one person's weird is another person's this is the most fulfilling thing in my life. But quote, air quote, weird. That was the thing that they did not enjoy. And quite frankly, this whole thing is a problem of communication because if there was any part of that person's expression of themselves, little or otherwise, that was like, that's not my thing, that should have been said ages ago.
Way in the beginning.
Instead of this dodgy, well, maybe we can do that later, because basically they were willing to potentially deny this person their need for regression and self exploration and the things that feel therapeutic and good for them, that are things they need. They were willing to potentially deny it because they had a feeling about it. I would be devastated too.
Right. I mean, it kind of goes back to something we talked about in the podcast a long time ago, I believe. Your hierarchy of kinks. And if being able to get into this little space for them is something that's very important. That is a big part of who they are. For them to just kind of, it's like, to me, for him to keep saying, well, maybe.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I don't like it. It's too much like chasing the carrot, being strung along.
And it's a bit passive aggressive. Just fucking say what you mean.
Yeah.
Like, there's parts of this that I don't love being a part of, but there's other parts I do. How can we find a middle ground? Now, if they decide to move forward and find a middle ground, because the hardest part is going to be that, I think, the feeling of, oh no, you think I'm weird, and so now I don't feel safe to be myself.
Right.
That could be devastating to a relationship.
Sure.
So that, to me, is the first thing to deal with. Now, that being said, if they decide to work it out, or if you are a person who's like, I don't mind the activities, but I don't love the change in tone of voice or the baby talk. I personally am not a fan of baby talk. The way I handle that is, one, I don't do it, and two, if it's happening, I move on with my life and go do something else. So there are ways for people to be able to do that and express themselves, and a person who doesn't like it to, continue to exist in harmony. But one thing I would say is, if there are certain aspects of little space or any part of your identity, but specifically a little space, that a partner's like, it's fine if you do it, but it's just not my thing, is to see if maybe there are other opportunities to have that outlet. And when I was reading this, the first thing I thought about and it's relatively new-ish in our area. It's hard to say anything's new when you've had a plague for 2 years going on. That's all relative. But basically, a lot of clubs and communities are starting to sort of like understand that the caregiver little thing is legit and it's here, and you better cater to those people. And so we know of different clubs that will have a littles night. They'll do a sleepover. They'll have a space during a play party or whatever that's just for littles to like go and do their thing. We've seen scheduled things where littles get together to do coloring or to watch a movie for, an evening.
Right.
And so I would say that if the relationship is salvageable and if they can move forward and find their middle ground based, like you said, on the sort of those hierarchy of kink needs, then if there's some aspect that a partner's like, I just can't get into that part, can you express it elsewhere? But I think the biggest issue is now this person has to deal with and decide if they even want to overcome the fact that their partner, who they have clearly adored for any long length of time, just called a thing that is important to them weird.
Yeah.
But that can
see,
fuck things up real
and
bad.
that to me is kind of key, and makes me get a little on edge.
I am so sorry. I did not mean to do that. I picked up, sorry,
That was my coffee.
podcast listeners, I picked up JB's coffee for whatever reason, and that was not what I was expecting.
No, it wouldn't be, not for you. So, but my response, my feels on this is may come across as a little harsh, but if someone feels that their little space is weird, they have no right to be called a daddy or a caregiver.
I think if it's one of those things where you let it hang there and let it be weird for you and never just fucking admitted it. I think in the negotiations you can be like, you know what, baby talk's really not my thing. Like, and this might be a sign of maturity and experience where you can have these conversations and know, hey, this isn't my thing. Are there ways you can engage with this that don't require me? Like, and that could be done in the negotiations, or it can be done the moment you realize, wait, this thing is not for me. But the sitting on it and waiting on it, that's the problem. Because if the idea to me that is central to caregiving is in the definitions in the name, giving care, taking care of, understanding that whether there's an age regression or not, whether there's a defined little space or not, you are a nurturing partner to your little, or however that person identifies.
Sure.
And so care of them is beyond, okay, I'm going to make sure like I don't fuck up a scene. Care of them from a nurturing standpoint is, how are they feeling? What do they need? What now? I think that any and all doms and tops can have this aspect to them, but there is something deeper with a caregiver or somebody who identifies with a caregiver, even if they're not using that label for themselves, because that nurturing aspect usually runs so strong. But to just passive aggressively go, maybe another time, avoid the topic, which I'll bet money that the topic got avoided because he was like, oh, this won't go over well.
Yeah.
I'll even give a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. It's like, oh shit, how do I say this? Well, like, be a grown-ass adult and go, I have to say a hard thing and I don't know how this is going to come across, but we need to talk about this because this will impact things. Like, just be imperfect and fucking say it. Because what happens when you don't say it is now trust is, like, potentially jacked up completely.
Sure. I mean, it's one thing to say, I'm not really sure if I'm into this, if this is something that is for me. Mm-hmm. But to say, no, that's weird.
Yeah, and there's so much judgment in that.
Exactly.
That's weird.
Exactly. That's what bothers me.
I know. Both sides of the slash doesn't matter. It's a people thing. We have to be very aware of our words, but especially when you're the dom, especially when you're the one in control. But it's even regardless of that, when you're talking about something that is important to a partner on an identity level, on a therapeutic level, either side of the slash, your words fucking matter. Your tone matters. If I said to you something that you cared about, I was like, ew, that's weird. That might not bother you in the same way, but it would certainly have an impact on you. It's judgment. And the last person we want to judge us is our partner. And in this case, this person's like, that was my daddy. We were in a caregiver little situation. I've been very clear that I go into little space and want time for and also how much of it is weird because I'm uncomfortable with it and haven't gotten used to it versus I don't like it and I'm going to label it a hard limit, because sometimes we think things are weird because we just don't have experience with it. It doesn't rise to the level of, oh my God, get it the fuck away from me, right? Like, that's legit if that was his reaction and he considered it a limit. Okay, fine. But just because you find something weird don't mean you can't support your partner while they're experiencing it. And there are so many ways to go about that. Like, I could already come up with some ways of, excuse me, I have to choke on my own spit. Sorry. I can already think of so many ways where they can be engaged in it and he could still kind of distance himself. Like, set up little space and she's on another side of the room or in another room or somewhere, like, doing their damn thing, and you're like, I'm the daddy, I'm gonna sit in my comfy chair and read the newspaper, I'm gonna watch game, you're gonna come to me when you need something, I'm gonna come in and check on you, and it's gonna be part of the scene, and I'm gonna have, like, there's so many different ways to just, but yeah, the weird thing, that's the judgment, is the judgment.
Yep.
Okay, anything else now that I accidentally went on a mini rant? It wasn't a full-fledged rant. My blood pressure's not up. But okay, I'm gonna warm-up rant, maybe. I'm gonna close these so I don't accidentally come back to them. Okay, this one I picked as well because I thought, ooh, this is a good one for you. The headline is "In Need of Aftercare from Fellow Doms." This person says, I'm a dom to my wife, bedroom only, and we had a session last night where I started by having her do a wall pose while I whipped her naked ass with my belt, once for every day it had been since I'd been able to fuck anything. She whimpered and cried, but took her lashings at about half as hard as I would have liked to deliver them. She did not say her safe word or gesture, nor did she say or do anything that indicated she needed me to stop. I took her to the bed afterwards, and we had sex in various positions, and we both climaxed, her multiple times, and I, of course, provided her with aftercare as well, and I still am. I am normally on an incredible high after we have some rough play like that, but today I find myself in a weird mix of guilt that I whipped her as hard as I did, but also frustration that I didn't whip her as hard as I wanted to. Does anybody else ever have this feeling like somehow I simultaneously did too much for her, but too little for me? Am I bad for wanting to be more extreme than I think she can handle, even though I didn't actually go there?
Quite the conundrum.
I mean, I'll go ahead and get this one out of the way. Talk to your partner.
Yeah.
Find out if she can handle more. Okay, done. The communication answer's done.
And I mean, that's really what it comes down to. They do need to talk about it. No, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there are times I feel like I would love to give you more than, but I also know it is a thing to be able to do that is built on trust. Okay, because there has to be the trust there to know that if, pushing boundaries like that if you were to safe word or need to stop, that it would stop. I also know that building someone up to extremes like that is not something that happens at the flip of a switch. It's going to take time to work up to something like that for the most part, especially if someone's not used to that.
Sure.
And there may be, the other person may not want that either.
So that's preventing for the future. Have you gone through that have you ever had the simultaneous uh-oh, did I do too much, but also not enough? Have you ever left a scene feeling, not, I don't think you've ever left a scene with me feeling completely dissatisfied, but have you ever had those small levels of, it would have been nice if it had been...
Yes.
How do you deal with those?
How do I deal with that? I think that's where it comes in. That's why I have always said that after a scene, whether it's several hours later or a day later, it's always good to have a debrief. And talk about it. Also, I think it helps that when you go into a scene, you say to your partner, what I'm really looking for here, I'd really like to lay into you with a belt, and just kind of get that primal feeling out. And you may say, I don't want that.
Right. I'm like, oh, not today.
Yeah. Or you may say, yes, that's exactly what I'm looking for.
Right.
Because you have your expectations of what you want from a scene. I have my expectations of what I want from a scene.
And then we also have our individual, how are we feeling that day?
True.
You might be revved up and like, I'm here for this. And I might be over here going, oh, Lord, no, I can't handle a lot right now. Yeah.
So that's why even before the scene begins, to talk about what your expectations are, what your partner's expectations are. Can they meet in the middle somewhere?
Right. Can you find a compromise?
Even before anything begins.
Yeah, I agree.
So, there's layers. Like an onion.
How have you pulled yourself out of the, it was good, but it could have been better kind of feeling? Is it just a remembering that, hey, I get to do this again?
And that's kind of it. It's not an end-all, be-all.
Right. It's harder if it's a one-off or it's a very casual thing. But if this is a person that, there's going to be time because life interferes, but your chances are damn good you're going to get to play again. You can do it again and have a different outcome. The other thing is, and everybody plays differently, we are the type that you're not trying to get to my safe word. You're not, unless we negotiated, I hit the mic, sorry. Unless we negotiate that ahead of time, and those kinds of scenes we would have to, because it's not how we typically play. You actually stay in a very safe, nice comfort zone of my limits and boundaries. Right. You're not trying to push me towards safe word. Not everybody plays that way. I like the fact that we play that way. If you wanted to be a little bit more primal or go a little harder, we would negotiate that because it'd be like, okay, how far can I go? Can I get you to that edge? In this case, I would tell that person so that maybe the next time, one, they know how their partner prefers to play, and two, maybe the next time they can have the scene they want would be to say, what do you prefer, and or is it situational? Do you want me to stay right in the center of your comfort zone and not play on the edge of your boundaries? Do you want me in this one scene or in general or whatever to get you to a point where you either use your safe word? I don't love the idea of playing all the time to the point of a person using their safe word. I think I'm too risk averse, quite frankly. But as a one-off or as a way to explore other parts of themselves, that could be the question. That could be the conversation to plan for and find out from your partner what they want, which is what goes back to what you said. Get a debrief afterwards, especially if you're left feeling either slightly unsatisfied or like, I feel like that could have been better. And I think that's the thing we don't talk about very often. We and I mean the general, like, people who talk about BDSM where other people can hear them. That royal we, I guess. General we. Words are hard. I don't know. When we talk about scening, we either talk about how they could go horribly wrong, or we talk about how amazing they are and everybody was satisfied. But it is very rare for people to go, well, one of us had a really good time, and one of us was like, and I would be curious to know, how is that as common as I imagine it to be? I think that it should not be common for every scene in a relationship. Like if you are consistently scening with one another and it is always that one of you is always satisfied and the other one of you is always like, I could have read a book, that's a problem and indicates something's off and you're going to have a conversation.
Something's way off at that point.
But can we just be real that sometimes you're in the middle of a thing and maybe you're mentally making your grocery list? She says as she points to herself. Then there have been times that I have thought later, he totally could have gone harder than that. I would have been okay with harder than that.
And there's also the thing, and I know I did this a lot early on in our relationship. The old axiom, leave them wanting more. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay? You don't want to play things to the nth degree right out of the gate.
Sure.
Because if you do it all in one shot,
what's there left to do?
What's there left to do? Mm-hmm. So, keep them coming back for more. Kind of keeps the anticipation alive and going well. Mm-hmm. So, there is that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But this one does come down to communication, but I think it's planning. I think it's the debrief. And then I think it's understanding if you're consistently walking away from a scene where you're having mixed emotions and it's not satisfaction, one of those emotions is not like, yeah, that was great. You've got to have a conversation with your partner. Figure out where their head is at, what they want. Let's go back to the vulnerability topic. Be vulnerable. Yeah. Go, I think you had a really great time and I am so happy I could provide that for you, but also I need something and how can we make this happen? Just fucking say it. Okay, next one. Now we're getting into the two that Silent Wing sent me. So thank you, Silent Wing. Also, this is an open invitation. If you are on BDSM Reddit at any point and you see something you think, oh, Kayla would have an opinion about this, or, oh, I wonder what JB and Kayla's take would be, feel free to email it. That's fine. Okay, the headline is FetLife and Nudity. Oh, this one annoyed me a little bit.
Okay.
It did.
Okay.
I joined FetLife a couple months ago to find local munches. It took quite a bit of courage to post a photo, and I've since added a second, both with me fully clothed in vanilla clothing. I was talking in a group and was told that the fact that none of my photos are sexual was not, quote, how things are done. Pardon me while I roll my eyes.
Me too.
I explained that what was under my clothes was private. I was then called a prude, and it was suggested I didn't belong in the kink community. Many people in the group agreed. You were in the wrong goddamn group.
Yeah, you are.
Let's just start there. I left that group because I believe they're wrong, not to mention rude, and you are correct. Why is nudity seen as, quote, expected on FetLife by so many?
It's not expected.
No, just because there are people who do it and can do it does not. It should never be expected.
There is nothing in the rule books that says because you are a member of FetLife, you have to put nude photos.
It's just we've come up with another gatekeeping one true way. There's rules to how you do this, and if you don't do it the way I do it, then I think you're telling me I'm wrong, so I have to circumvent that by telling you you're wrong for not doing it my way. And really, what we all fucking need if we're like that is some goddamn therapy. Okay, there's the rant.
What those people and that group did not understand are boundaries. That person had a boundary. They are not going to post nude pictures in any way, shape, or form. And they could not accept her boundaries.
I know. And I'm very proud of this person for going, I'm out of here.
Right. For upholding their boundaries and saying, the hell with you. And walking away. The disturbing part, more of this, is the people in that group who kept trying to shame
this person
and berate for their boundaries.
I know.
That is disturbing. I would not want to be a member of that group.
I'd be the fuck out of that group.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, people are nude on FetLife because it is allowed there, and a lot of people are nude on FetLife.
Oh, yeah.
But the idea of saying, well, this is a thing that I feel that I am comfortable with doing and is normal to me, and then deciding that very personal thing is like the rule of life, and then the extra shamey step of, oh, well, if you're not going to get naked, maybe you're not really meant for the kink community.
Right.
like, I don't want to make gagging noises into a microphone, but it's just, are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah,
are you fucking kidding me?
I know.
Quite frankly, because nudity is so fucking normalized on FetLife.
Well,
I mean, this list, but I had a point. I actually had a point for once.
Really?
I know. Here's the thing. It does feel like sometimes that everybody is fucking nude on it. I'm only on FetLife in the various accounts to answer DMs, quite frankly. I'm actually actively often turned off by too much nudity on FetLife, especially for those people whose profile pic is their penis, and then they message me. I actually do like an auto ignore, delete, whatever, because it's like, I don't want to talk to your penis. Thank you. So first of all, one, we're out there. Two, just because everybody does it, air quote, everybody does it, doesn't mean everybody actually wants to. And I, knowing that there's a lot of nudity on FetLife, actually don't like it that much. I don't care what other people do. I'm not going to go around shaming or judging. But
here's the thing I was going to say. You know, let's face it. Nobody's going to go and put nudes on Facebook.
Oh, they will still try.
Oh, they may try.
They get yanked
They're not
down.
going to get very far.
Right.
Okay. And FetLife is a safe place.
It's meant to be.
Meant to be a safe place for
be.
people to express their kinks. Okay. And for some people, that kink is exhibitionism.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
There are people who are there just for that. They do not engage with anybody as far as being a sub or a dom or masochist or anything like that. They are there to share their photos of who they are. Okay? And that is a safe place to do that.
Absolutely. And they have every right to do it.
And they have every right to do that in that space.
Definitely.
But it is not something that is expected. It's like saying, well, you know, if you join FetLife, you have to be poly.
Or you have to be a submissive.
You have to be this. You have to be that. No, you freaking don't.
Fuck that.
Okay? So I applaud this person for standing their ground and leaving that group.
Yes.
Because, as you call it, gatekeeping to the...
You know, and I do applaud this person for being strong in the face of sort of a group pylon. Groupthink can be dangerous. If everybody in the group starts thinking the exact same way with no nuance and no question. The hive mind. Like, sometimes hive mind can feel or seem good because it's like, well, we're all thinking a very good thing. Like, we're all thinking consent and communication and BDSM are great.
We're all kind of on the same page. And,
right. And sometimes it starts out as positive, but it's when somebody can't come in and go, I see something differently and here's my unique position on it, that's when you get into the hive mind on the negative end. Because I'll bet money at some point the conversation was actually, I am so glad I can post nudes here on FetLife and it's safe to do it and I feel comfortable doing it, and so I am going to post nudes all the time and I enjoy seeing other people's nudes and this is a normal way of operating for me. And that thought, that very positive thought, turned into, oh, well, if you don't do it, there's something wrong with you because look at all of us, we all do it, and now we're in a bubble of everybody who thinks alike on this one thing, and anybody who disagrees with us is on the outside. And human nature being what it is, we love to group shit and categorize shit and go who's on the inside and who's on the outside, and then we like to shun the outside. And this is how you get shit like this. And it's why, even in what should be a more open-minded community like BDSM, you get gatekeeping. You get the trying to other people and tell them that they're wrong. Especially because what happens is again, we're back to the like bigger, broader we here. We as human beings tend to go, oh, if you're telling me you don't like something, I think you're saying that you think I'm bad for liking it. Which is a bit of an emotional maturity thing to be able to go, oh, you don't like it? Oh, okay, I do. Oh, okay. And we move on and we're fine. And many people have that level of emotional maturity, but many people don't.
Right.
So, there we go.
Okay.
There we go. Okay, last one. This is, I don't like calling any episode short because then I talk for forever.
Yeah.
But we only had 4 today. This one, okay. Last one from Silent Wing.
Okay.
The headline is Dom insulted me and I'm not sure where to go from here. I'm 22 female. I'm in a dynamic with my boyfriend, 38 female. Yeah, okay, make sure I'm reading that right. To make a long story short, I turned him down for sex. Okay, it says 38 female, but maybe they use he, him pronouns. Oh, I'm just going to keep going. I turned him down for sex 3 days in a row. I wasn't feeling my best, and I just didn't want to. He got upset about this and a couple of other things, saying I don't do what I'm told. He then said I'm more of a pillow princess than a sub at all. He went on to say something that really broke my heart, telling me that I'm not a good sub, even going as far as to ask if I thought I was. This is really hurting my feelings and messing with my head. I'm just wondering what to even say at this point. So my question is, would I be the asshole if I went a little petty about it? Maybe say something like, I'm not comfortable being your submissive until you apologize for your previous behavior. I don't know. Please just give honest opinions or advice. First of all, that's not petty. That's straightforward. I don't want to be your submissive until you can apologize. Until we correct this situation. Second of all, let's go back. I wasn't feeling my best and didn't want to have sex 3 days in a row, and said that I don't do what I'm told, and that makes her a pillow princess and more of a sub. Okay, run screaming from this person.
Right? Yeah.
That's just a little parade of red flags. Not being able to handle being turned down for sex, quite frankly. After the first day of being turned down, I wouldn't be real confident on the second request to be like, hey, how are you feeling? Would you be up for this, right? I'm going to come in like kind of gentle and be like, okay, you've already said no once. I'm not going to assume that you're going to say yes a second time or a third time. Then to be told you're not really a sub because you exercised your ability to give or withdraw consent. No, I don't think so. That is also a red flag. But no, first of all, I try not to be petty as a submissive, but I definitely understand the urge. But also, I want to talk to her about her idea of petty, because saying something emotionally mature, like I'm not comfortable being your submissive until you apologize, that's not petty.
No.
That's emotionally mature and aware, and I'm very proud of you.
Yeah.
But we got to work on petty as well.
So
it's just 2 or 3 red flags that you should run screaming from.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, the whole thing about, we haven't had, you haven't let me have sex in 3 days. Oof. Let me tell you, if I'd known that was the rule when you had surgery, man, I would have been,
I know that just induces an eye roll. It's like, oh no, wow, poor me. I didn't get to have sex 3 days in a row when I wanted to. Wow. Okay, you big fucking baby.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you've gone longer than 3 days without sex, and you survived it up to this point, so you'll be fucking okay. You'll be okay. Suck it the fuck up, go masturbate, and talk to your partner, and figure out when it will be a good time for them, or if there's something going on, or what. This is a moment where that person was like, oh, submissive means sex dispenser. Submissive means I get to just decide whatever, whenever, and they're supposed to fall into line, and they shouldn't have a fucking opinion. Which is it's just a load of red flags.
It is.
It's a load of red flags. The moment a dom is like, especially if you've not negotiated
and a load of caca
level of maybe micromanagement, or a really total power exchange, maybe some consensual non-consent. If there's no negotiation about any of that, there's never been a conversation, so there can never be an understanding about that, then there is never a point in which a submissive can't go, respectfully, no.
Yeah. I mean, this, we negotiated in our relationship early on that you are sexually available to me. But you know what? If you have a migraine, if you are feeling sick, if there are things going on, I don't expect.
Right.
Okay? So,
And there's so many different ways about that. So the relationship you and I have at this point is I'm going to tell you how I'm feeling so that because you know me, I should probably not approach her with my dick in hand, because that's not going to
it's not going to go over too well.
Yeah. But if I don't say something and you approach me with dick or flogger in hand, I go, here's the situation. And you go, okay.
Right.
Then if I've been feeling bad and maybe I'm starting to feel better, you then just ask, hey, are you up for it? Okay. can it and is it sometimes, and also often, very sexy for a dominant to just sort of like issue commands, and you kind of fall in line and you just do the thing, and they're kind of like that strong, like, I get what I want and you're gonna give it to me. Like, there are times and for some of us it is sexier more often than for others, where it is sexier less often. Like, there's a range here.
Yeah.
But that is not and should not be the day-to-day for every single solitary person on the planet.
No.
Because, you know, life is a thing. So migraines and illness and work and stress and
there you go,
surgery recovery and whatever the fuck, whatever. Submissives have the right, have the responsibility, have the need to have the capability of going, that's not going to work for me today. I'm going through a thing. Now, I would say if you're in a long-term relationship, there should be some expectation that if a partner says no, there's going to be some conversation about what's going on. Whether it is in the moment of, hey, no migraine, hey, no bad day at work, hey, no whatever, or it's going to come later, right? Like, sometimes something's going on and all you can go is, nope, not right now. And that just needs to be respected, and you'll figure it out later. The reality is that no is a complete sentence. In a negotiated power exchange, I think partners owe each other a little bit more than that at some point. So if there was 3 no's back to back to back, I would hope that at some point they would sit down and have a conversation about what's going on. I would hope that the dominant partner would get fucking curious and be like, hey, is everything okay with you? We haven't really talked about why this has been a no. Is there something going on I need to know about?
Right.
Like, just that lack of curiosity about what the hell's going on with your partner is a red flag to me. Like, I kind of understand in a casual situation, in a hookup situation, like, you're kind of there to, like, have a specific purpose met and a moment to have, and maybe you're not going to have that much of an in-depth conversation, but we're talking about a fucking relationship. You're supposed to, even if you're not madly in love, at least like one another a little bit, respect one another a little bit, and it's kind of the height of respect to go to your other partner, submissive, bottom, fucking otherwise. Hey, I've noticed you haven't been in the mood for this lately. Is there anything going on? Is there anything we need to talk about? Do you want to let me know when you're kind of like, fucking ask questions instead of just thinking that your submissive partner is just a dispenser for all your fucking needs and has no needs, wants, desires, or issues and emotions and feelings of their own that they got to deal with. Like, what?
Deep breath.
Yeah.
Cleansing breath.
It wasn't as therapeutic a rant.
No?
As I would have liked. No.
Okay.
No. Maybe it's because I'm just tired of all these red flag toting motherfuckers. Like, there's just so many of them in an endless parade. And I know this is not universally true. I know this is a generalization, but it does seem to me that when somebody presents you with a bouquet of red flags, I am pretty sure it's not the first time they've ever given those to you. And whether they gave you one bud of a red flag and now they've moved up to the bouquet, it's like
the bouquet.
It's never like, I have yet to see where somebody is decent and then turns on a dime and is full of red flags. Like, I've seen where maybe they were uneducated on something and they were believing a trope or a fantasy and not dealing with the reality in front of them. Like, I can see some of that. But when it's like basically the audacity of that fucking guy, and that's the attitude, I'm like, oh, this person's been this way since the beginning. They're either just getting so much worse it's intolerable, or they're being more blatant about it. And so I just think, okay, if we're waving this many red flags, how long have we been waving them? And what did they look like?
Yeah.
And it's just the fucking audacity of that guy. That's all I got. That's all I got. That's what I have to say.
Wow. Raspberry and all. Okay.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
There's been a couple of fuck that guys in this one.
Hey.
And yes, in this case, I wouldn't even fucking communicate with this mofo. I'd be like, I gotta fucking go. You're right. You know what? You're right. I'm not a real submissive. Not to your dumbass. I'm a go. Yeah. I mean, I know that's way easy to say and much harder to do.
I know.
I get it.
When you're in the middle of it, it's
when
hard,
it's your feelings and emotions and the hopes you had for the relationship and
sure.
the good times that you can't stop thinking. Like, I get that I can be really flippant about it and be like, gotta go. Yeah. And that is much, much harder to do in reality. True. I get that. True. But I also kind of wish more people would go, whew, you're out there just waving a whole bunch of red flags, aren't you? Okay, I'm gonna go now. But sometimes we have to go through it. Yeah. Live it, experience it, get hurt by it, and then be able to see them for what they are the next time around. Yeah. Yeah. That's true. Official word on this last one. Fuck that guy.
There you go.
Okay, so that is the end of the Reddit posts that we were responding to for this week. They all came from, I believe they all came from the BDSM advice subreddit. There is a BDSM just sort of community subreddit and then a BDSM advice subreddit. And for anybody who, I think I saw it mentioned in the live chat and podcast listeners might be thinking about it. Yes, that last one, they did post in the Am I the Asshole subreddit, and they were advised to bring it over to the kink subreddit. To the so if it side, sounds like an Am I the Asshole kind of post, which are sometimes fascinating to read.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
That's why. So, that's it. That's all I got. Okay. I know we have a bonus section.
Yes.
Anything before we go into bonus section?
I don't think so.
It's nice to be back, but I feel really out of practice.
Yeah.
Like, really out of practice.
I not so much out of practice. I feel a little out of sync.
That too, yes.
Feel a little out of sync. But, yeah, it's kind of good to be back, though.
It is. And we'll talk more about it in a minute in the bonus section.
So, are we good?
I'll let other people decide that.
Okay.
Keep it kinky, y'all. And we'll see you next week. Dottie.
Yes, baby girl.
Can I talk to the crickets, please?
Yes, you may.
Oh my God, there's the rule that I have to wait for him to write the number down because there's an edit thing he does for the podcast, and he didn't have the screen up, and I was holding my breath, and then I was like, shit, I can't hold it any longer.
That's why I did not tease you and let you go ahead and talk to the ticket, because I saw the struggle over there. I saw the struggle.
I do not have the lung capacity that I once did.
Yeah. And Silent Wing, you asked earlier if there was a brief Lola photo. Yes, there was.
I saw her standing in front of you.
A Lola and Ella photo, actually.
Oh, I see why. Yeah. Okay, so podcast listeners, you cannot see. YouTube watchers, you can't see this either. So, when we redid The Office a few weeks ago, we put this pillow bed thing that used to live in our living room in the office where Lola's crate used to be, and it actually is kind of under my work table. And we'll talk about it in a minute, but Ella was like injured sort of last week, and even before then, but since then she went on pain meds, and she's been sleeping on the big pillow. We call her a princess because she's like in the very center of this pillow, this teeny tiny little cat, this big old cushion.
Think of like a California king bed.
Yeah.
Like
and like a toddler in the middle of it. And that's what she looks like.
That's what she's like.
And for different reasons that we've watched over the past few days, she and Lola are kind of bonding.
Yeah.
And so what I'm looking at is Princess Ella curled up on this massive ass dog bed, and Lola curled up next to her, and they are sharing it.
Yeah.
And it is precious. So do you want me to do a quick rundown? So the thing to know is a lot of what we would talk about.
All right, well, hang on. So, those of you watching, at one point, you may have seen me being distracted and looking off to my left. Lola and Ella definitely have been bonding. Lola has almost taken on the role of being like Ella is her pup.
Yeah, she's constantly checking on her.
She's constantly checking on her, and let's face it, Lola is a big girl. And, I have watched her a few times kind of nose Ella like a mama dog would do to their pup. And, try to okay, move along it. And Lola initially was kind of looming over her and doing the sniffing and
the nudging
thing. And I just want, try and keep an eye on her a little bit when she does that.
Because she gets rough.
Because she can get rough.
We don't need Ella injured or re-injured because Lola cares too much.
And, right now with Ella being on meds, she's not quite herself.
No, and her reflexes are a little slower than they have been.
So I do kind of try and keep an eye on her a little bit.
That situation, among many other things that we could spend this bonus section talking about, we've actually talked about it on the Friday night live stream. We started there because we had what I would call a drama train of a week. Like it was a drama train wreck, I would almost say. So I'm going to do a brief recap. If you want the details, you can go to that live stream that's now a video on our YouTube channel and just watch the first 30 minutes and you get all the details. But first, the 16-year-old got hurt at work, cut himself, needed stitches. Then we had to spend 2 days cleaning mold off of all our windows because we were all having skin and sneezing problems. That's been corrected.
Yes.
Then I got sick, you got sick. I got sick, you got sick. We passed it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. JB's dad was knocked off a ladder and pinned by a tree limb that he was trying to cut down. Yep. JB's mom was having serious memory and medical issues that prompted a 2-day visit down to the Tampa Bay area. And then Ella hurt herself. We couldn't figure out why. We needed to take her to a vet. That's why she's on meds. And she is still on pain meds. They didn't do x-rays. They were just keeping it pretty minimally, like non-invasive, to see if she would get better. She has gotten better, but she's doped up, which has also made her friendlier. I'm not advocating for sedating our cat, but I kind of fucking like it. The 12-year-old, today is the first day he did not vomit on the way to school because there's some sort of anxiety thing. I'm not going to go into the details of that because not everybody wants to hear about getting sick to your stomach. The details of that are also part of, but today was the first day finally in over a week that it did not happen. I don't know if I can trust it, but it didn't happen. So that's what we went through in the 2 weeks we were gone. Like we were only supposed to be gone for a week.
1 week, yeah.
And then between you having to go down to the Tampa Bay area and help your mom, which is, that's what you're about to update to the extent that you are comfortable. Yeah. Because that's been a whole thing. And you and I passing back and forth whatever chest cold, head cold thing for a week and a half. That's why there was no
sharing is caring
podcast episode or live stream on our normal schedule last week. So
yeah,
if you did not catch all of that, like I said,
there's your Cliff Notes.
That's Cliff Notes, and the fuller description and discussion is in that video. Now, we've given the cat update. She's stoned out of her fucking gourd, and it's delightful. The 16-year-old's fine. He got 7 stitches. He was fine. We're working on the 12-year-old. Yes, he needs to go to a doctor. It's an insurance thing. I'm working on it. Okay, now, the update, if you want to share it, about your dad is basically fine.
Dad is basically fine.
As far as we know.
He's just kind of recuperating. Pain meds, muscle relaxers, yada yada.
Right.
Nothing serious on the injury there. Just a matter of letting the bruises and cuts and scrapes heal.
And he's 83, so letting things heal takes a little bit
longer. Things take a little bit longer at my age already. So
hell, at 42 they take a minute.
Yeah. So it kind of is what it is. As for what is going on with my mom, she is still in the hospital as of this recording. She is having a number of tests being done. She was initially diagnosed as having a UTI,
which can fuck up your cognitive abilities
right.
if it goes on too long untreated.
So she's being treated with that heavy round of antibiotics. But in the meantime, there were some other things that have been discovered or possibly discovered, and she is going through tests to see what is going on there. Because of her cognitive ability at this point, I have been pretty much designated her
healthcare proxy is what they called you.
Proxy, thank you.
As next of kin, oldest sibling. Which means he's making all of her healthcare decisions for her.
Right.
Because she can't right now.
Yeah. She doesn't even really understand she's in the hospital.
Or why she's there.
Or why she's there, although she is enjoying all the attention of the nurses.
Which, knowing your mother, I'm like, that's on brand. That's right. That tracks.
So, I have been pretty much glued to my phone.
Yeah, well, I'm, knock on wood, impressed that it didn't ring or buzz while we were recording.
I know, because this has generally been about the time that they contact. The hospital she is in has been wonderful. They have kept me up to date on everything that is going on, how she is doing. They have been fantastic. I am really, really pleased with these folks on many levels. So this coming weekend, when this podcast comes for the podcast listeners, that Friday, I will be heading down there this weekend again to see her. My other sister is there. She goes to visit as she can with her crazy work schedule. She has a really insane work schedule, but kind of is what it is. And right now it's just a matter of hurry up and wait for some of the test results to start trickling in, which could be anytime tomorrow, Friday at the latest, Monday, or Friday at the earliest, Monday at the latest.
Right.
Sorry.
And so, then once you get the results, then they can formulate a plan of what to do.
Right.
So it really is just, I mean, you can't even go, okay, well, we can maybe work this out. We can maybe do that. Like, it's none of that. It's just twiddling your thumbs and watching your phone.
Exactly.
I mean, the hospital called yesterday while he was pouring resin for some stuff with the shop, thekinkery.com. And he's like, oh shit, and he puts it on speaker and he's talking to first the caseworker, then a doctor, like just steady mixing and pouring resin, and I'm like, you do what you gotta do. This is life right now.
Silent, yes, there will be the Patreon stream this weekend. My intention is to I will be home most of the time Saturday. I'll be here to do the stream. We have some work that we have to get started outside. Kayla will be helping with that. We'll do the stream. I'll probably have an early dinner and then drive down.
And spend the night.
Saturday
night, come back
and
Sunday night.
come back Sunday night. Yeah.
Because Sunday is the one day that most of the time the car is free,
right.
Which that was the original plan. We did not expect you to have to go down to the Tampa Bay area in the middle of the week.
Correct.
Which meant there would have been a very stuffy sounding live stream that day. But the reports you're getting from your sister were so not concerning, I should say. They were so concerning. You were like, I'm not waiting till next weekend. I'm going.
Right.
And I was looking up rental cars and getting you squared away so you could go. Yeah. So.
Yeah. I mean, originally when things kind of came to light with my mom, I asked my sister to go by and check on her. And I told her, I said, if you think it necessary, get her to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
I love my sister dearly. She is a good person, but she cannot make those calls.
Yeah, no.
After talking to her on the phone and her kind of telling me what she saw, with her, I encouraged her highly to get her to the hospital. But that was why I kind of jumped in the car and went down there.
Sometimes there's a real benefit to your need to control things. Like, it actually does work in your favor.
Well, and when I saw my mom, I was like, no, she needs to get to the ER.
Yeah. So.
And that's what we did.
And it's a good thing, because a lot has come to light about her health and is coming to light.
Yes.
And your mom was never forthcoming about her health to begin with. So
no,
who knows how long some of this stuff has been going on.
Exactly.
It's a very strange feeling. I know. I'm watching you go through it to be like, this medical professional is asking me what I want to do about my mom, who is a grown-ass lady and normally makes these decisions herself. And some of those conversations, I know what's coming, those will be heartbreaking conversations. And even the conversations you're having now are heartbreaking. Like, to be asked, do you want us to perform CPR if necessary? Can we do a blood transfusion if necessary? Can we put her on oxygen if necessary? Though, I mean... Y'all, if you have relationships with your parents that are they don't even have to be overly positive, but like basically they're in your life and you're not mad about that, that is not, I don't think that's a conversation anybody can be prepared for.
No.
To have, especially on behalf of a caregiver or parent kind of figure. It's just, And I had I didn't have that kind of conversation, but my mom and I had to have those conversations when I was at the very young age of 22 about my dad. And I still remember how I felt.
Yeah.
So so we are trying to be as relaxed as one of us is not really capable of being when it comes to when will we record? When will we go live? How will our day-to-day look?
I have some thoughts that I'd like to talk with you about after we're done here in regards to that, to keep things going.
Sounds like there's a business meeting afoot.
Yep.
Will there be coffee?
We've had plenty of coffee today, I believe.
Always go for more coffee.
Yeah.
Especially if it tastes like sugar.
And Mr. Spock made a comment
about our
taking
weekend
outside this weekend. Like, yes, Mr. Spock, I am getting her in the outdoors this weekend.
Doors before? I just come my ass back in. It's fine to visit for a few minutes.
Right.
Look, because Lola was officially diagnosed as chunky as fuck by her vet, we are back to regularly walking her at night, which means I am regularly in the nature and the bugs are regularly fucking biting me, okay? And I do it because there's nothing wrong with a little chunk, obviously, because I look in the mirror and I know what I look like. But
I like my girls chunky.
But
chunky.
We want Lola to live a long, happy life, so some of the chunks got to go.
Yeah.
We're working on it. I'm very proud of you. We were both contributing to the chunk. She was getting to lick a spoon that had peanut butter on it, not like a big glob of peanut butter, like leftover peanut butter, daily, and get a bite of banana daily. And then 2 or 3 times a week, there was like, here's a big treat once a week. Here's a Kong filled with peanut butter and treats. And we both immediately went, okay, you're cut off. Like, she gets teeny tiny little treats. Like, we don't deprive her, but she's not
They're
as
far and
spoiled
few
as...
between now,
Now, if I could just do that for myself. Not there yet. Not happening.
Yeah. No.
So... yeah, as always, there's a lot. The thing I said when we did the Friday live stream, and for right now at least, I continue to think, as wild as everything is, as stressful as things are becoming, it still doesn't feel like 2021 felt.
No.
Like, it might get to that point. You never know what life will do to you, but I'm still like, I think part of it is because 2021 is so fresh. I'm like, look, we got through 2021. We can get through this.
Yeah.
We can get through this.
I know. Yeah.
But yeah, the 2 weeks we were gone, there was a lot happening at one time. And most of it has basically calmed down.
It has.
Now we're dealing with the more serious ongoing things.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
We'll get through it.
You will.
We'll get through it together.
We will.
We're trying to keep our humor, so hopefully we'll get through it with a little bit of laughter.
There you go.
And maybe when we have time, some kinky fuckery.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you would like to?
I think that pretty much sums it up for me. I mean, other than, I am feeling better. I know.
Yeah, I was a little
better.
nasally during this recording, during this live stream, but it was pretty brief.
Yeah. Cough is lingering a little bit in me, but not surprised as someone who's an ex-smoker and now vapor.
Exactly.
So, but overall, yes, I'm feeling much better.
Mm-hmm. So, that's enough. We brought the whole house down in terms of mood with this bonus section, so we'll go now.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll feel back to like how this works and what are words and next week we'll be back in a groove next week. That would be nice. Okay, we're gonna go.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks.
Bye.
Bye.